Hey gang, it's September 7th, Saturday, and here's what we got going on. I was moving the bus, post-Hurricane Dorian. My light fell down, but that's not really the biggest deal. Amazing, it fell down and only one bulb broke. I took the other one out. It's fixable. I just gotta straighten out the body of it here, reattach it and put another bulb in it, it'll be fine. It didn't even break the frickin' socket pieces. Alright, so here's the real problem. You know, I did all this wiring cleanup thing. All this is circuits that were not being used or wiring that I shortened by a foot or so, like that, to make all of that stuff under there, oopsie, nice and neat and clean and to be well routed. This area here is still needing some attention because these are wires that used to go to that, and that right there, air conditioner control panel, used to be in a compartment underneath the bus. I removed that compartment, so that thing needed a place to go, and in here was the best place to do it. And the great thing is the wire harnesses were long enough I could just plug them right in. I didn't have to modify anything as far as that circuitry goes. I did change the big fat orange wire down there because that used to go down from this air conditioner unit and through the floor, and then it went to that guy, but now it goes over the top and to that guy, and it's just basic circuits. Those are the output circuits to run the fan and whatnot in the air conditioner unit. But we have a computer problem now. When I turn on the ignition, the left front headlight comes on. When I turn on the lights, the right front headlight won't come on. And these side clearance lights no longer work. These used to work as clearance lights, but both of them would blink when you put the directionals on. So none of that works anymore. All right, and those are the current symptoms of what is going on here. I think everything else is still working. All right, so now let me show you what's going on here. As the final stage of cleaning up all this, let me back up a little bit. This fan never worked since I've owned the bus, and the only thing that this fan requires is a ground, which we have right here, and two hot wires, high and low. The fan works, but it would never get any power from the bus circuits. One of these wires, I don't know if it was high or low, used to go through a plug that was in that square hole down there, and it went to a computer back there halfway through the back wheel underneath the bus, and that's what drove the fan. The other speed for this fan came from, pretty sure, this computer right there. Alright, so if I really wanted to know everything I cut loose, I put a label on so I'd know what it was for. And so between the color of the wire and everything. So to give you a little bit more information, what I did here is I removed all of the unneeded circuits. Just about everything here is like, this is rear door switch, right? And I don't know, what does this one say? Can't read it. Something like a warning buzzer, and all these things that I had disconnected already at the end of every wire, okay? And I had no issues with the bus. And to give you more information, all the door openings, the emergency hatches, there's 2 emergency hatches, the rear door opening, and there were 6 windows that were emergency exit windows. Every one of those was an open circuit to ground. every one of those had a ground wire going to it, and the ground wires were connected either up at these points, which were pretty poor. They were even loose when I got the bus. Okay, and there's another point down there in the back that was the ground circuit for all these warning systems. If any one of those circuits was grounded, then it would trip the warning. So obviously they're all open circuits. You could just cut them into clear and they have no effect on anything. It's just like the circuits being open. And so the majority of all that down there is all the emergency exit stuff, all those tan and white wires. And then I think these right here were the auxiliary tail lights, which were down there, that I had disconnected. And again, everything was working perfectly with everything disconnected. So disconnecting at the other end of the wire would have no effect on anything. They're still disconnected, right? So all that was said and good. And what else is in here? There were speakers, four audio speakers for the radio. Those are pulled out. Same thing, they had been unplugged since I bought the bus practically, and there were no issues with that. And the dome lights from back here, all of those, I mean, it's just a dome light, right? I mean, think about it. If all your dome light bulbs were burnt out, you wouldn't expect the whole computer system to go haywire on you, right? So now going a little deeper, right here, this plug, this was in the floor. I'm talking this through right now just to help me get my head straight on this problem. This plug was on the floor down there in that hole. All right, and there were only 3 wires in it. You see right there? 1, 2, 3. Okay. That blue one was the fan, and I forget what these other 2 were at this point. It would have been nice if I kept track of that. I mean, they're labeled elsewhere. Oh, I know. One of these, this tan one, was either the positive or the negative to one of the warning buzzers in here. And the purple with the white, I want to say that was like the dome lights or something. All really meaningless circuits. And they had already been disconnected. And there were no problems at all in the system here. So I thought, you know, well, geez, if there's only 3 wires in this whole plug, I mean, look at it. There's only 3 wires in this whole thing. The terminals were all corroded and messed up, so I figured here's one of them that was broke there. What's that second one? That's the purple white. Anyway, so I figured, well, geez, I don't even need this anymore. So I took this out. Now again, I'm saying this to get this straight in my head. At this point, I was done with all this straightening up here and everything was working. All right, so this was like the final stages of cleanup. All right. So I went under the bus to see where these wires went. All right, and I'm pretty sure all 3 of them went to the computer that's right about here underneath the bus. And this is the wiring harness from it. All right. So there's like 5 plugs on that thing. So there's a purple with a white wire. There's the tan wire. Okay. This particular purple with the white wire, I remember now, branched out under the bus and went to the compartment bins. So that might have been ganged up with one of the front dome lights that never worked. The dome light that was over the door and also the stepwell light never worked. They may have all been on the same circuit. All right, so there's that. And then this plug had 2 blue wires. And off the top of my head, I don't remember what they went to. They may have been unused circuits from the factory, I think. Light blue wires, I can't remember. But I removed it because I determined it wasn't needed, right? So here's where the problem started. I wanted to take and cut these wires off rather close to the plug and seal them up with some sealer and heat shrink tubing to prevent future trouble. This is under the bus, mind you. I'm going to go down there and show you where that is in a minute. So I went to remove this plug and it ripped that terminal out of the computer because it was all corroded up. So it was bound to fail anyway. It may have still been electrically connected, I don't know. But look at that big wire. I traced these wires back. This big red is a power supply for the computer, and this big black with a white is a ground for the computer. It goes right to the chassis frame, the ground does, and the red goes right to the fuse panel over the left front tire. So I'm thinking to myself, expletive, right? Then I pulled this plug out, and I had the same thing happen. 1, 2 pins yanked right out of the computer, or these broke off. They're still in the computer, those 2. That is a power supply. And this little red wire is called the wake up, to wake up the computer. I guess it gets, I don't know, when you go to crank or something. Maybe this is not a power supply. I'm gonna have to go check. I got literature on this. But anyway, so I'm quite sure during the evolutions of all what I've done here, it's only this snafu that has caused my current problem with the lights not working correctly. So I really honestly don't know what to do. I know if I were to take this to someone, a skilled mechanic who's familiar with the multiplex system, who's got a scanner, he's going to look and say, Jesus, you know, look what the hell you did. There's no way I'm going to be able to fix this, kind of an approach. That's how I'd feel if someone brought this bus to me to work on it, right? But anyway, so what I'm going to try to do, oh, there's another circuit. So here's these 3 plugs. Let me pull these out. There's, is it on here? Yeah, there's another, oh no, there they are. The green and the yellow inside this plug are the twisted pair data cable. And that's where I think the root of the problem is occurring. Underneath the bus, what I did is I cut those off and I sealed them up and then covered them with heat shrink. And what I figured was everything was working, I thought anyway, and I would just have some trouble codes until such time I could get someone with a computer to update all the programmed accessories and stuff, or just forget about it and leave the error codes. But the error code I'm getting now is something to the effect, I don't see the computer anymore. So I think what's happening is the whole CAN network on this bus is trying to send signals to a computer that's not there, and it's causing it to go into tilt mode somewhere. So let me get the garage open here. I'll show you what else I think I know. That might be all the wiring right there that I removed. Yeah, that's all of it. Yeah. So, so what I'm going to do today, yeah, this is different circuits here. That was from the air conditioner. That's got nothing to do with it. That's got nothing to do with it. That was from the air conditioner. Yeah, I thought maybe there was another circuit in here that was I had laid on the lawnmower, but that's all of it. What it was is that was laying on the lawnmower. This is getting to be a long video. Let me stop and start again so the file size won't be so big. Okay, so let me show you where the computer is now. I pulled the bus forward a little bit so I don't have to lay in the dirt. I think it's right around here. Where the heck are they? Oh, yeah, there they are. There's the two. I think they're called like accessory computer something or other. Alright. So, it's this one up here. Alright, so there's a bunch of light coming in from somewhere over there. But there's... Alright, I'm gonna double check here. We got 1, 2... Yeah, there's 3 plugs that are out. Alright, good. So, I mean, these right here, they just go out and back in again. I don't know what that's all about. This might be, I don't think it would be, but there is something about a resistor, a line termination resistor, that has to be on both ends of the data circuit so that there's no interference from other things. And I don't know, I would assume it would be after the last computer just physically, but that doesn't mean a thing. But looking at this now, this thing has got screws or rivets, so it looks like I can pull the top off. So what the thought is I want to take this guy out of the bus so I can work on it in the shop, physically open the case, hopefully I won't damage anything, and then I'll remake those connections that are damaged, either, you know, directly through the plug, you know, drill out the plug and have the wire come out the hole, you know, not this plug, but the ones that are damaged, or maybe just come out the side of the case and seal it with some silicone or something. If I can get all this stuff rehooked back together, hopefully the malfunctioning lights will start to work again, and then I'll know for sure what's got to be done to this. Either just leave it or pay somebody to program this computer right out of the whole system. And so I just wanted to take another minute and show you this. This is the data communication line. Alright, you got a light plug and a dark plug, and they only would go in, I think physically you couldn't even mix them up, right? And that's all there is to it. This is a twisted pair. So I got these 2 wires to put back on and just a few of these other ones, and we should be good to go. As an add-on, before I started hacking, I left that thing loose. Before I started hacking any of this stuff loose from here, I documented on a piece of paper. I got a drawing of this online, and it shows all the plugs and what their designations are. Not exactly what they go to, but like their capability. Like they can carry 10 amps, or they're positive or negative, their inputs and outputs. Generic stuff. So whoever would do the programming would know how to add on circuits and whatnot. So I have that, most, if not all, of the wires that I was working on, I've already noted what they were. So I should have no issue getting that reconnected. And we'll see how it goes. Okay, this is, I think, promising. So these, where are you? There you go. These look like just Torx screws, and they're not even security type Torx screws. This looks just like a simple plastic case cover, and it looks like the pins are not bonded to the plastic. Like I could take this cover off and it'll just come right off and the pins will stay in there. So there's one pin. Now the corroded up ones are probably the ones that were carrying power, I would think, because of, you know, electrical current. There's another one that's fried up in there. those are corroded, and looks like there's one missing on our lower right there. And this plug here looks like there's an empty spot and a broken pin. And I can compare that to the plugs right here. So what do we got? So here's the little one. So I guess that's just two empty spots, not a broken pin, because the pin is not here. That's good. And here's the big plug. Where'd you go? Right there. You see 1, 2, 3. Right? 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then here's the next largest pin. Only one pin is in here, and there's only one pin missing from there. So that's where we are. All right, let me take this cover off of here and remove this plug and this plug. Hopefully there's no corroded terminals in there. I'm double checking that I can't mix up any of these plugs. Otherwise I'll have to identify them by their connector number. Okay, so yeah, it's C5 and C1 I just took out. They're all different terminals, but I scratched the designation in them anyway. They just got crap seals on these plugs, man. And the water, I mean, look, you could see a water line in there where water was just laying in this thing. So this computer's probably trash, but it was not causing me error codes. So let me go ahead and pop the cover off now, and hope we got some good news in there.